Good Erev Shabbos, everyone. This week we begin Parshas Bamidbar, the book of Numbers. And here we have the census of Klal Yisrael. And the Ramban notices that the tribes range from 70,000, 60,000, 50, 40. There's one tribe with 32,000. And then we come to the tribe of Levi. And the tribe of Levi is 22,000 and change. And the Ramban asks, how is it possible that this tribe, this holy sacred tribe of Levi, the servants chosen by Hashem, they should have such a minuscule number compared to the rest of the tribes? And the Ramban gives us a very interesting answer. And he answers and he says that the tribe of Levi, considered the aristocracy of Klal Yisrael. We see Moshe and Aaron, who from the tribe of Levi would come and go as they please, coming to Paro. Why weren't they subjected to the slavery and the torment? They were from the tribe of Levi. They were considered different, the priests of Israel. And because they were not subjected to the servitude and the oppression, therefore the Ramban says they were also not the recipients of the special bracha that Hashem issued. For when Paro called upon his council and upon his wise men to deal with the Jewish problem, they said, we have to afflict them and we have to make their lives miserable and we have to destroy their spirit and we have to do whatever we can to break their faith. And therefore they instituted the Avodas Perach, backbreaking labor, spirit, faith-breaking activities. And Hashem said, as they increase the afflictions, so shall Klal Yisrael increase in number. They think they're going to diminish the number of Jews because we are depressed, our spirit is shattered. They will see there will be a bracha. Therefore, the Ramban suggests and says that those who were subjected to the slavery and to the spirit-breaking decrees of Paro, they were the recipients of a unique bracha, a bracha that the more you're afflicted, the greater your struggle, the greater will be your offspring, the greater will be your achievement. That no matter what our enemies attempt to do, they will never be able to destroy nor crush the Jewish spirit. Therefore, he says, the rest of Klal Yisrael, they earned this bracha because of the embittered lives that they had to experience, their suffering and their struggle. And therefore, they earned this blessing. And that's why they had numbers that were far out greater than that of Levi. Levi reproduced in a normal fashion. It's the rest of the tribes that reflected the blessing. From this Ramban, we see that in every person's life, we have suffering and struggles and difficulties and challenges. But it is exactly through those challenges and struggles that we earn the blessings of Hashem. Those of us, especially the Jewish people throughout the centuries, who have been the recipients of the anti-Semitism, the envy, the animosity of our enemies, we are also the ones upon whom God showers his blessings. So we should not run, nor shall we complain when there are difficulties cast upon us. No, we do not look forward to them. But it's all part of the divine plan. And we should be aware that there will be blessings in store for us. The Orach Chaim has another insight in this question of the Ramban. Why was the tribe of Levi so few in comparison to the rest of the tribes? And the Orach Chaim says that we find that Amram, Moshe Rabbeinu's father, when he learned of the decree of Paro and the Egyptians that the Jewish boys who were born were to be thrown into the Nile, He said, are we going to bring children into this world to be destroyed? And therefore he separated himself from his wife. Amram from the tribe of Levi was the leader of the tribe of Levi, and he was revered. And therefore there were members of the tribe of Levi who followed in his footsteps, and husband and wife, they separated. They were not intimate, and therefore they did not reproduce according to these numbers. The Or Chaim continues, and he says, why is it that the tribe of Levi, when they heard this decree, that their children were going to be destroyed, how is it that they were moved to take the drastic steps of saying husband and wife should separate? Why not the rest of Klal Yisrael? They were righteous amongst the Klal Yisrael. The women were righteous amongst the Klal Yisrael. Chaim says, because the tribe of Levi remained spiritually attached and bonded to Hashem, perhaps because they weren't subject to all of the oppression and slavery and servitude. And because their spiritual attachment to God remained strong and firm, they could not tolerate, they couldn't bear the thought of having their children, the next generation, be destroyed. They were so sensitive. They were aware of what was happening. But the rest of Klal Yisrael, especially the men, who had to endure the bitterness of Mora that we put in our mouths that brings tears to our eyes. This was their daily, hourly experience, and which they became almost spiritually numb. Paro's plan was being brought to fruition. Our spirits were broken. Our faith was being shattered. And therefore, a person whose faith is shattered, whose spirit is broken, they fail to recognize the disaster that faces their children. And therefore, in spite of the decree of Paro, they remained together with their spouses and brought children into this world. The statement of the Or Chaim is remarkable. We find ourselves today in a world, a society. There are righteous, and there are those who look upon what's happening and they're saying, what's taking place with the next generation? They're losing their identity as Jews. They're losing their identity as human beings. They don't know if they're male or female. They don't know what they are, who they are, what they should be. They don't have any morality. There are the ethics, the dignity of man is eroding before our eyes. But the rest of society, except for the handful of those who live moral, decent lives, they have become numb and broken to all spirituality, to all elements of faith, to a higher calling. And they are blind to the disaster that is befalling their children. Oh, let's have an open, free society inclusive of everyone. They are presenting their children with the formula and prescription for disaster. This is what the Or Chaim is telling us. Tribe of Levi, firm, faithful unto God, they could not bear the potential disaster to their children, so they separated, and that's why their numbers were few. Those who were subjected to the torture and the slavery, they could not perceive the disaster of what shall befall the next generation, and they continue blindly down the path of destruction. The lesson is obvious for each and every one of us, especially as we stand on the threshold of Shavuos, to once again receive Hashem's Torah, the magnificent gift, rededicating ourselves, reaffirming our commitment as loyal, faithful Jews. And in merit of this, may we see a generation from whom we have nachas, happiness, comfort, and only joy. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay Jewish. Have a good Shabbos.